For this DIY, I want to take 4 of the little mini pallets from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make a fun hanging planter for the 4th of July. I want one of these to be on each side, and I want the larger pallets to be here on the outside. So it's a little bit more simple. And I'm going to attach it like that. So and one side will be a little bit longer. It'll be a little bit rectangular in shape. I just glue that on there, kind of matching it up end to end there to form a 90-degree angle there, where I want the width of it to be a little bit wider. So I'm going to have one of those glued on each side, if that makes sense, like that. And I am just using hot glue to attach these together. I'm going to be using faux florals from the Dollar Tree and foam, so it doesn't have to be super sturdy. If you wanted to reinforce yours with some wood glue or some nails, you really could. And then for this piece, I need to kind of sandwich it in here. I put hot glue on each side and kind of open it up and put that right inside, forming the structure of our little hanging planter. Now, I want to do something else for the bottom of it because I couldn't get another one of those to fit perfectly on there because I made the rectangular shape. But first, I'm going to stain it. I wanted to go ahead and glue it first because when I stain it with the paint, it was going to make the hot glue a little bit harder to stick to it. And I just find that wood items glue better that way. So once I get it all put together, I just made a paint stain out of some red acrylic paint mixed with water. It's going to be really thin, which is going to make it easier to paint the inside of the palettes here too, where it would be a little bit harder to paint. And I'm going to go over all 4 sides, inside and outside of the palette board signs. I really want everything to look like it's stained red. So it's not going to be a real bright red. It's going to be more of a stained red wood, which I really like that effect. And I'm also going to be adding some of the wood stars from the Dollar Tree to give it a fun patriotic touch. But first I had lots of areas to go in here with my brush to make sure that I got every single part of this covered. And you could do it navy or blue as well if you'd like. For the bottom of it, I'm just going to use one of the flexible cutting mats from the Dollar Tree. And I actually had one in red. Sometimes they come in colors. So I thought might as well match the box, but you could always do one of their frosted ones as well. These work great for little planter bottoms because you can't really see them and it provides a great bottom that's really easy to cut down to size. So I just cut out a little rectangular piece that will fit, and I'm just going to use hot glue to glue that little cutting mat there on the bottom. I kind of focused on the insides of the palette boards there. As you can see, it's a little bit thick. Then I can go in and kind of trim it up and glue down the corners to make sure that it's going to be really secure. And we're going to be using that heather from the Dollar Tree in red, white, and blue to add to this. But first, some stars. I wanted to do some white stars. I thought that would look really pretty against the stained red wood. So I'm going to use these little wall hangings they have this year at the Dollar Tree and just simply remove them from the little wall hanging and remove the staples here from the back. The Cricut weeder works great for that, those tiny staples. And I can glue one of these on each side. The front and the back are kind of the wider sides, so that is what I'm going to decorate. And it's going to be a hanging sign, so I want it to be pretty on both sides. I just simply used hot glue to attach my wood star to that side. As you can see, it's the perfect size for these little mini palettes from the Dollar Tree. And I attach one there to the other side as well. Now I do want this to be a hanging planter, so I do need to take some twine. You could also use chain for this if you'd like, but I find twine a little bit easier to work with. I can just feed it through the palette here on the sign and double tie this and use that same piece to go to the other side, creating like half of the hanger. I'm going to do the same thing over here on the opposite corner, just double tying that. And then I will do the opposite corners and we can tie it all together at the top. And I thought it would be easier to do this before I start filling it up with florals because I don't really have anything to get in my way. One of my was a little bit longer than the other, so I did tie it together here at the top to make sure that it's going to hang balanced, and I think that's going to work. I just burned off any fuzzies there on my twine with a lighter, and now we can fill this up with florals. But I think it looks really cute. I've been wanting to make a little hanging planter like this for a while, and I'm glad I finally got an excuse to make one. I just cut down some of the Dollar Tree floral foam, and we are just going to use the heather. This time I'm going to leave the greenery on this. I think that's really pretty. And I'm going to use all red, white, and blue and just start scattering this around. I notice there's less blue than there are red and white on these. And so I'll only have a couple of the blue, but I think that that's going to be fine. I do like the greenery in that, and I'm just going to keep filling it, scattering those in there until I think it's full enough. And then I use a little bit of the floral moss from the Dollar Tree to cover up any foam that might be visible. Really cute. You could use this indoors, outdoors. If you had it like maybe on a porch or something like that, I think that would look really cute hanging there. I think that's where I'm going to put mine. But this is how it turned out. I love that heather, the red, white, and blue. I think that's really pretty. And I love crafting with those like little mini palettes from the Dollar Tree. There's so many fun ideas you can come up with. And here is just a little mini planter. And I love those wood stars from the Dollar Tree. They come in red, white, and blue.